we're asking everybody today. Any comments?
Tell them to get the hell out of Palestine.
Ooh. Any better comments than that?
Helen is one.
Remember, these people are occupied, and it's their land. It's not German, it's not Poland.
So where should they go? What should they do?
They go home.
Where's the home?
Poland.
So the Jews,
Germany.
You think the Jews go back to Poland and Germany?
And America and everywhere else.
Well, those words from veteran journalist Helen Thomas, the reaction to them caused her to call it quits. She retired, apparently ending the career she began as a copy girl in 1942. Thomas had covered the White House since John Kennedy was president, and because of her longevity, she held that prized front row center seat in the White House briefing room. Her departure leaves a big question. Which news organization will get that seat? We'll get to that in a second, but first, her statements. Your reaction?
Well, you know, John Brennan, the president's counterterrorism advisor, can't bring himself to say the words Jerusalem. He says Al-Quds instead. So maybe Helen didn't want to mention the word Israel and speaks about occupied Palestine. Look, I think the LA Times got this right. It's a sad finale to a career that was truly distinguished and trailblazing in many ways, but it should have ended. It was time.
She had a history of strong opinion, especially in the latter years. Yeah. Did you once, in one of your columns, call her Mount St. Helen?
No, I think that was somebody else. I wish I had thought of it. But look, this is part of the continuing debate between liberals and conservatives when it comes to the media. Do the personal biases of reporters and columnists enter into their reporting? This was an exposure on a scale of 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, that of course that it does. And it didn't help with that video, the close-up of her features, which reminds me of the opening scene of Macbeth.
Yeah, I thought I was looking at the Blair Witch Project or something.
I mean, Howard Kurtz reported that she said back in 1982, quote, "Thank God for Hezbollah." Now, I guess the rest of the press corps, which sort of enjoyed listening to her talk and trash, especially George W. Bush, just gave her a pass on that, just kept that secret for almost 30 years as she was rooting for the terrorists who were killing Americans.
And killing Jews.
Well, listen, it's a very good argument for the 65-year-old retirement age. Okay, maybe the 75-year-old retirement age. Okay, I mean, listen, you know, she's a woman who had a great run, a great career, and it's gotten to be an old coot at the end and saying crazy 90. Stuff. No, that's. But you know, there's one piece. Even though we all, I think, have happy to denounce what she said. There's a little thing we need to be careful of, though, when the Correspondents Association and others get into the business of weighing the positions of people inside the press corps. I don't think we want the White House doing that, and I don't think we want our own brethren doing that.
You're talking about the seating chart?
Yeah,
the seating chart and the
who's
question of whether...
to seat them, Ellis?
No, but
first come, first served.
Granted, but seat them based on the media organizations they represent, on the work they do, not so much on the personal opinions that they may hold, because tomorrow, guys, that's going to turn on you all.
I don't think they did that.
They were revoking her seat, and they were talking about pulling her out of that
They're just now considering whether or not an opinion journalist ought to be in the front row, and I think that's appropriate for them to decide.
A lot of viewers might be surprised to know that the White House does not do the seating chart. It is done by something called the White House Correspondents Association, which is, after all, a group of political reporters. You've worked in the White House. Who gets the seat? I mean, how does that process work?
It's all politics, like everything else. The finalists appear to be Fox News and Bloomberg News, and
Fox is the only network that doesn't have a correspondent in the front row. And Bloomberg.
I'm rooting for Fox.
Bloomberg, the financial wire service, or financial service that doesn't have a correspondent in the front row.
You make a good case, John.
Should we let ratings decide?
I think with the exception of the hookups, because broadcasters have requirements that print and radio people even don't have, television broadcasters, I think it ought to be open seating. It is on Southwest Airlines. That works out all right.
So you'd hire some kid to sit there from 6 in the morning to save your seat, right?
Look, that's part of the elitism that people hate about the media, that you've got these prime seats reserved for the elite media. Well, what is the elite media are down in market share, they're down in circulation of their newspapers. Who's got the audience? This network.
Well, and I appreciate that you liked when HuffPost got that nice role as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That was really dear to my heart. Yep.
Good.
I'm pulling for my buddy Major Garrett to move up a row.
Yes.